Hello beautiful makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. I am thoroughly excited today because we're going to be playing with the new Wenzdae and Angelica Halloween collection. So I did pick up the fall collection. This is a limited edition Halloween collection between Wenzdae and Angelica. They have collabed with her before for the Hella palette, and now this is Halloween. And she has released two palettes. We have got Trick or Treat and the Little Ghost palette. We have five lip products, and because I bought the whole bundle I did get the two little key rings and the scarf. I think if you bought one of the palettes instead of both you got one of the key rings, and I can't remember how you got the scarf. There's different bundles on there, so do definitely check that out if you want to pick anything up. I'm not sure if these are sold out yet with the certain items. So Wenzdae are a Swedish indie brand and they base their palettes and collections on Norse mythology. Angelica, who is Swedish herself but currently lives in the US, she is a beauty YouTuber that I really like to watch. She's one of my favourite people to watch on YouTube, and she has once again collabed with Wenzdae. Let me show you the first palette she did, which is the Hella palette, which is now unfortunately gone and sold out because that was a limited edition. So this was the original Hella palette, and I'm just going to remind you of the colour story. She has brought something totally different to the table this time for Halloween, but that was the original, and I'm glad to be adding to my little collection between Angelica and Wenzdae. So I believe Hela is the god of death, goddess of death. I am not up to date and in the know with my Norse mythology, so I believe that is what it is based on, and there is a picture of Angelica on the front of the palettes representing Hela. So let's dive into some close-ups and swatches.
I know you don't mean to, but you're blocking my view. I know you got issues, but I got my shit too. I don't wanna be your therapy no more, no more. You don't wanna hear this, but it's you, it's not me. Ooh, gotta go and grab a spoon now. Ooh, make a life for myself. Ooh, I don't know what I'ma do now. Ooh, but I don't need your help. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me stay, do stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. The last thing I was.
So as you can see, an absolutely beautiful collection. The packaging is always really intricate and amazing from Wenzdae, so I knew this collection was going to be no different. So we'll talk about the Trick or Treat palette first. Angelica herself has said she never really celebrated Halloween growing up or trick-or-treating, that type of thing, but now that she's in the US she's getting to experience Halloween a little bit more and understanding the concept and what it's a bit more about, and sort of the enjoyment of Halloween rather than the spooky parts of Halloween, and that's what she's tried to incorporate into this collection. Now looking at these colours, you definitely have some Halloween colours in here, like that bright orange, the bright green is definitely calling to me, absolutely beautiful, and the red. I like the combination of colours in this. Like, Angelica looks for in a palette what I look for. I like deep dark mattes, really light mattes, mid-tone mattes, and a variety of different shimmer formulas. And of course, because we have the same preferences, I knew I was going to love her selections. However, having said that, looking at this whole palette, if you hadn't have told me it was a Halloween palette, I wouldn't have known. I would have thought it was more leaning toward Christmas than Halloween. But I like the fact that she's interpreted it in her own way and included the colours that she thinks will go together, and I definitely do think this is a well curated palette that will combine so many different looks. There are already so many things that I've got in my mind that I want to do with this. So there are 16 shades in this and 7 of them are shimmers, and there are definitely different shimmer formulas in here. Just by looking, because I haven't swatched this yet, even though you've seen the swatches, I can definitely tell there's different shimmer formulas in this. There are some indentations in the pan. We've got a spider, a skull and crossbones, a pumpkin, that's the word, and some bats. It's just the cute little touches. Obviously the packaging from Wenzdae is always beautiful, and there is a mirror. Then the Little Ghost palette. I actually can't choose between the two which is my favourite. Maybe I will at the end of this video, but this gorgeous colour story, I mean, there are definitely, again, Halloween colours in this, like the purple, definitely. We still have some more orange, and the bright yellow, definitely. But again, she's created this in her vision, which I really appreciate, and I think the colour story is beautiful regardless of whether it's Halloween or not. And again, so many different colour combinations that I can see, and again, different textures of the shimmers just by looking at them. I'm going to start by putting on one, that could have been dangerous, one of the lips. Now there are different formulas, so there is a shine, a matte, a glow and a shine. So like I say, different formulas. I think I'm going to end up with a matte, and there are 2 mattes, so we'll put them to the side for now. But while I'm just applying the eyeshadow, I thought we could do something that was a bit more on the shine or glow side of things, just so that I can get as many of these lip products into this video as possible so you can see what they are like. Which shall we go for? I think we're going to go for Quicksand, which is a shine version. I love the packages, like the component of this, the ombre, absolutely beautiful. Ooh, that smells real nice. Oh, it smells sweet and candy. That is beautiful. Loving that. Oh, that is a lot more pigmented than I was expecting. And I'm not mad. That feels so comfortable, and it's the first time I've actually tried an Odens eye lip product, and I have to say it's extremely comfortable, not super sticky. It just feels nice and cushiony and comfortable on the lips, and it was just a nice amount of opacity, I would say. And yeah, I'm going to keep this one on while I pop on some eyeshadow, and then we'll switch to one of the liquid lips at the end. This is the outer packaging for the lip products, by the way, which again I just wanted to show you because it's that extra little touch. Like, I know I'm not going to keep these, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. All the detail and effort that's put into even the outer cartons for stuff like this. And the outer cartons for the palettes are exactly the same as the palette themselves, so you don't need to keep them. Now this one is intact, but unfortunately the little ghost palette, I had to actually cut my palette out because it was stuck. I'm not sure if it was because it was too tightly fitted like my Soul Main palette was, or whether there was a little bit of glue still on it, because at the bottom of my palette there is just like a little bit of glue residue left over, so maybe that was why, which is a little bit of a shame. So I might as well throw away the other outer packaging now, but it doesn't really matter because on the front of the packaging it is exactly the same. I'm just going to start off by priming, and everything that I'm using in this video should hopefully be linked in the description box. That's future Kerry's problem. Okay, so I think I'm going to start out with the Little Ghost palette. I think that's the plan for today. What am I thinking? I mean, it's absolutely stunning, and I definitely want to do something bright, bold and dramatic. I think I might go from the blue to the purple. We might also add in a little bit of orange and yellow, maybe. I think I want to do a cut crease for this look. So I'm going to start out with the blue, which is called Haunted House. And I think I want to pop that just above the crease. Let's just mark it out while my eye is relaxed and open. That is not a straight line. Okay, so I've got the deep blue down where I want it to be. And as expected, it is pigmented and lovely. I do usually really enjoy Odens eye mattes as a whole. I think they are generally pigmented and easy to work with and blendable and buildable. It's more the shimmers that I have a problem with if there is going to be an issue, just because sometimes they can hard pan and sometimes they're really difficult to pick up on a brush. I haven't found that with the Hella palette, which was Angie's original release with Odens eye, but a couple of the other Odens eye palettes I have had that issue. Okay, that's kind of how I want it to be looking. Stop judging if it's matching or not. Look, they're not sisters. And then I'm just, with no extra product, going to wiggle on the edge to start a blend before we go in with the next shade, which is going to be that lovely purple. And the purple is called Little Ghost, just like the palette. Super cute names, and I love the theming of this, that it is more sort of children's trick or treat rather than full-on horror. And I'm just going to start wiggling little by little bits of this purple next to that deep blue. And of course I will go back in with the deep blue and just keep going back and forth between the shades until I'm happy with the blend. Okay, that's somewhat how I want it to look with the blend. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of Skeleton, which is a very extremely light pastel purple. Like, you could mistake it for a white. It's that light of a pastel purple. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that just to blend on the very edge of the purple we had. And you do have to be careful with pastels because they can cover up what is underneath. But again, I will go back in with the purple and work on the blend between them. I'm just going to use a little bit of my P. Louise base to cut my crease. This is in Rumour 01. Then I just like to take a flat brush when I can find one, and it's the P. Louise 7072 that I use. And I just like to make sure it's really coated on the edge of the flat brush, and I'm just going to go in and cut the crease as neatly as I can so I can clean up this underneath area. I think that's as neat as that's going to be getting today. So let's move on. What do I want to use next? I think I want to take some more of the purple called Little Ghost for the outer corner area. Let me just get rid of these creases. And we'll just pack on some of that purple out here. I don't know what to tell you. We kind of just ended up with this shape. I just felt like I needed to sort of wing it out a little bit. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've just been really enjoying it. I'm sorry if you can hear the loud traffic from my window. Ooh, I'm enjoying this shape. The more I play with it, the more I am enjoying this. Okay, I need to stop faffing with that purple and move on to a different shade, otherwise we're going to be here all day. I think then I want to go into the orange. Okay, I know orange and purple aren't necessarily friends on the colour wheel, however they look really nice together. And we don't have a pink matte to actually combine them a little bit easier without it getting muddy, but that doesn't matter. We're going to go in with Candy Corn. Cute name. I still haven't tried Candy Corn. I want to, it's expensive on Amazon. What I might do actually, instead of trying to put the mattes together, is combine the shimmers, because we can combine the purple and the orange shimmer, which is Ominous and Screech, or even a bit of Boo, which is a pink, sort of in the middle next to that deep purple matte. That is a better idea because shimmers just blend in together. Mattes, I mean, they're a little bit more picky who they're friends with. So with that in mind, I'm going to go to the inner corner and I'm going to use Banana Taffy. That sounds lovely. I mean, I need some of that. And I'm just literally going to pack this onto the inner corner. And because this is such a bright neon shade, it's not really going to build on top of other shades and do the typical blends that some mattes will do, just because of the type of pigment that it is and how neon it is. Look at that yellow. I am obsessed with that yellow as an inner corner. That is an amazing inner corner shade. Then I would go into the orange, which is Candy Corn. Now we're going to go into the orange, and I'm just going to place that next to the yellow. Wow, that is a beautiful combination. Then I'm going to go into the orange shimmer, I think, which is called Screech. Then maybe a little bit of Boo, and then maybe a little bit of Ominous, because obviously I can't be stopped with all of these shimmers now. That did pick up really nicely on my Refa brush, but I am just going to spritz it a little, just because I prefer to do that with shimmers. Then they kind of behave how I want them to. And again, we'll get rid of these creases and just add a little bit of this orange shimmer leading from the orange matte. Oh, that is so beautiful. I can't wait to swatch this palette. I cannot wait. Then I'm going to flip my brush over and go into Boo, which it is a bluey pink special shade that looks gorgeous. Once again, I have sprayed it. I'm just going in for all of the shim shims at this point. It's a very holographic-y, beautiful toppery shade, but it's blending in nicely with the orange. Then I want to go into the ominous shade, which was the deeper purple, just to blend into that purple matte on the outer edge. And I might just fill that gap we have there with Boo, which is the pink blue shifty shade. Ooh, and maybe a little bit of Zombie. Now I've seen Zombie, which is another purpley. I don't know how many shimmers I've used in this look right now, but we're just going for it, man. I mean, let's stick on a little bit of this as well. Just pulling out the edge a little bit more. This is how we're looking. I'm not mad, but there is a gap on the lower lash line, and what should we fill it with? I think I'm going to use Candy Corn. I think that is what I want to do, just to add a little bit more orange into this look, and it will go nicely with what is on the lid. Okay guys, I'm going to jump off, finish this look, and then we can come back and change the lip. Things happened when I turned the camera off. I did go in once again with my trusty Arttitude Cosmetics Split It Painters Paradise palette, which I did get gifted in PR, and I do have a code with Arttitude if you want to pick anything up. And I did go in with the, nearly dropping it, pastel purple shade, just to line that cut crease and make it stand out and pop that little bit more. And I did go in with a few gems and some little stars. As you may see, I went in with the stars just up here, then a little gem near the inner corner, and some little gems just leading off from that cut crease. And I just feel like it definitely took it up a notch to the extreme dramatic eye level. But now we're going to test out one of the matte liquid lipsticks when I can find the matte ones. Matte and matte. So we've got, out of the two mattes, Swamp Frog and Shadow Creature. Which one is going to go with this? Maybe Swamp Frog? Maybe that could be... Oh, this smells so good. Yeah, I think Swamp Frog we're going to go with. I picked up a lot. So let me just wipe that off. Okay, that formula is the most like the Kaleidos lip glaze that I have ever used. That is the most similar. That's the closest I can describe it to if you're wanting to know what this formula is like and you've tried the Kaleidos. They are called lip glaze. Cloud lip glaze. You know which ones I mean. They're very, very moussey. They're very, very blurring on the lips. They're very comfortable. They're not 100% kiss proof, but they do dry down, and again, really, really comfortable. This colour is beautiful. I love the name as well, Swamp Frog. I think that's fantastic. I think it goes nicely with the look. Does it kind of lean on the orangey side to you? Maybe that's why I'm feeling like it goes with the eyes a little bit. But yeah, super, super comfortable. Very, very moussey. So at the start of this, I did say I wanted to do something bold and dramatic, and I think I hit the brief. I think this is very bold and dramatic, and quite in your face, and I can't believe how many shimmers I used, to be honest. Was it only 4? Was it only 4 shimmers that I used? It was. It felt like I used about 10. Not that there's 10 in this palette, but still. I feel like I used a lot of the colours from this palette, and I'm not mad at that. I really like this colour combination, especially going from that bright yellow in the inner corner. I love a shade like that in the inner corner, something really, really different. And it is a very sickly banana yellow. You know, like the Antibiotics, the banana one that you had when you was little? And it was kind of that fluorescent yellow. It reminds me of that, and I think it looks beautiful, especially going into that orange. And especially going into the purple and the blues. I mean, it's kind of a sunset eye. I normally use a pink matte for a sunset eye, but I feel like we did some sort of Aladdin sunset eye kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? I'm impressed with the mattes and the shimmers in this palette that I've used so far, but I'm equally excited to dive in to the second palette. So let's do that now. So it's time for the Trick or Treat palette today, and I have just used the Spectral Lip Gloss. Now this is beautiful and it is quite pigmented. I did go in with a brown lip liner first, just to make sure my edges would be nice and sharp and clean. But as you can see on the lips, it is actually still quite pigmented. It looks like a nice brownie colour on me, and I think it is really, really comfortable and I'm enjoying it. So far, no issues with any of the lip products that I have tried. Let me zoom you in and prime my lids and then we can dive into this beautiful palette. Now, looking at this palette, there is no denying that that bright green and the orange is shouting and screaming my name. So I'm feeling like that's probably what we're gonna do. Maybe we might have to do another cut crease because I want to include both of them, and these three greens here especially are stunning. So I think first of all I'm gonna start out with Vampire Fangs in the outer corner, and then we might blend that out with a little bit of Jack-o'-lantern. So starting with Vampire Fangs to get all of the gorgeous depth that I require in this outer corner. Look at that pigment and colour. That is so deep and rich and beautiful. Just building that up. And it's still looking quite rough right now, which is fine. It is super early that I'm filming this, and it's actually my husband's birthday today. So once I film this, I think we're going to decorate, to be quite honest. With everything else I've got going on at the minute, that's what he chose to do for his birthday. He wanted to decorate parts of the house. So just know I'm going to be having this lovely makeup look on whilst removing wallpaper and painting things. Okay, then I'm going to go into that bright orange called Jack-o'-lantern, like I said, because there was no way for the first time I was playing with this palette that I wasn't going to be using this shade. I am just going to bring that through the crease and kind of pop it around the deeper red that we've got going on. I might need to go in with an in-betweeny shade. What is happening here? I've got a random bristle that doesn't want to stay in place. That's annoying. Yeah, I might have to go in with an in-betweeny shade. Just going in with a bit of Candy Apple, which is the bright red, just to sandwich between that deeper red and that orange, just to make the blend a little bit more seamless out here. That is one fiery crease, and you definitely could keep it looking entirely fiery for this look if that's what you wanted. I think these shades pair together absolutely beautifully and they are blending really, really nicely. But of course, this is me, so you know I'm gonna have to go in with some green. Okay, those cut creases are on, so I want to play with the greens, and maybe we'll use a little bit of Poison, which is the bright green matte, and definitely Witch's Brew that looks to be a bluey green. I haven't swatched this yet, but I'm excited to swatch that shade. Witch's Brew looks absolutely stunning, and maybe a little bit of Crypt Keeper as well, just toward the outer corner. I don't know, or maybe Trick or Treat. We'll see when we get there. Starting out with a little bit of Poison then, which is the green matte. And I'm just gonna pack that on near the inner corner. To be honest, I didn't really know how far I wanted to take that shade, so I mean, we can always overlap. Then I'm gonna go in with Witch's Brew, which is probably my favourite looking shimmer in this palette, to be honest. And of course, we're gonna plop that right next to it. Wow. Oh, what a shade. That is stunning. Then I'm going to turn my brush over, and should we go into Crypt Keeper or Trick or Treat? I'd love to go into that one a little bit, but then this one would go into the matte. Use a bit of Trick or Treat, which was the red shimmer, just to merge these together a little bit better. And I might dip my brush into a little bit of the shade Crypt Keeper, who knows. Just going in with a little bit of Crypt Keeper because Apparently I can't resist the shimmers in these palettes. Maybe I'll go into a little bit of Goblin as well, just to deepen up the look even further, because why not? And just add that to the very outer corner just to create a little bit more drama. Okay, I think that's going to be more or less it for the eyeshadow, so let me jump off, finish up this look, and we might change the lip again. So guys, I did swap the lip out for Shadow Creature this time, which is the matte, sort of moussey liquid lipstick. It is, again, very similar to the Kaleidos lip clay formula, although when you're actually taking the product on the wand and trying to apply it to your lips, it is a little bit clumpy and there are some lumps that you kind of have to spread out. Once it's on, it, as you can see, it looks absolutely amazing. It blurs the lips and it feels extremely comfortable. But yeah, just noticed when I was undoing the packaging and trying to put it on my lips, there are a few blobs that you kind of have to smooth out with it, so doesn't make the application process the easiest. But once this is on, I mean, this colour, I wasn't even planning the look around this lip colour, but actually it matches it so well. And like I say, the formula when it's on the lips is so comfortable and beautiful that I don't mind that there's a few little blobs that I have to smooth out when I'm applying it. I did go in my waterline with my Makeup Revolution Streamline eyeliner in orange, just so that it all pulled a little bit more orange rather than red, because then I realised I was pairing red and green and I'm like, I don't want to be Christmas already. Like, the shops might already be trying to put Christmas things out, but I don't want to be doing Christmas. So I'm hoping this pulls more Halloween than it does Christmas. I feel like it definitely does with the orange. I did line my cut crease again with the same Arttitude Cosmetics palette, and I did use the bright green shade just to line on the cut crease to make that just pop and stand out that little bit more. But everything about this look makes me smile and makes me so happy. The quality that I have used in both of the palettes, like the shadows, are phenomenal, and that is what I found in the Hella palette as well. I don't think that's necessarily true for every single Odens eye palette when it comes to shimmers, because they can hard pan. Obviously I'm going to see how these last over time, and once I've swatched them, if they're going to have that tendency to hard pan. But I haven't found that with the original Hella palette, so I don't imagine it would happen with these. I do think so far these palettes are amazing quality. Of course I will use them some more and come back to you and let you know my thoughts, because this is just a first impression. I haven't used every shade in the palette, but so far I am blown away, impressed with the quality of the shades. Oh, and I did add a little bit of Magic Potion just to the inner corner. I do think you have to be a little bit careful with this colour story, because if you're wanting to do Halloween, you can end up looking a bit Christmas with the red and the green. But I appreciate that they're in there, because then when it does come to Christmas, you can still be reaching for this palette and make a really nice Christmas look. I don't think they are your traditional, typical Halloween palettes. I think they've got those colours in, but then they've got even more so that you can do more with it and it's more versatile. So like I said at the very beginning of the video, when you first glance at it, you wouldn't necessarily think it was a Halloween themed palette just from the colour choices, but actually you have got everything there that you need for Halloween in both of these palettes, plus some extras. Now I did test 4 out of the 5 lips in this video, and the only one I didn't use is Radioactive, which is a glow. I think it's a lip gloss that's sort of shimmery, and I think it's the one with green glitter particles in it, if I'm not mistaken, or a green sheen to it. So I will use this in the next video when I'm combining both of these palettes and doing some more looks. I will save it for then, rather than trying to stick it on top of this, because I don't want to muddy up the wand of this, and also I quite like how this looks matte. So we'll talk about the lip glosses first. The 2 lip glosses is Spectral and Quicksand, and those are the colours, and I think they are both absolutely beautiful. I will get so much use out of these. The formula is really nice. Sometimes, you know, when you get a lip gloss and it's a little bit gloopy or a little bit sticky, or it doesn't last very long. Yeah, that's usually why I tend to stay away from lip glosses, but these are amazing. They are more leaning on the side of a lip oil. They're that comfortable and nice and moisturising on the lips, and I really like the pigmentation in them. It is more pigmentation than just a clear gloss, but it's not a fully opaque gloss, where it looks a bit, I'm not the biggest fan of a fully opaque gloss, that's just not for me. This is kind of a nice in between and it is perfect. Just put on a little lip liner, you don't even need to, but I would put on a little lip liner and stick on one of these glosses and it would look absolutely gorgeous and juicy. So guys, those are my first impressions of the Odens and Angelica Nyqvist Halloween collection. Please do let me know what you think of my two looks, which was your favourite. Are you picking any of these palettes up? Have you already got them? Which is your favourite? That is not the right way around. I did think right at the very end I could do a little comparison for you because I do have both of the Christmas limited edition palettes from Wenzdae that they released last Christmas, I believe. So this is the colour story of, what is this palette called? The Merry Christmas palette. Little bit similar vibe to the Trick or Treat palette by Angelica. So you can sort of see, you know, we've got some oranges, we've got some greens, we've got a red. They are not dupes, it's not exact, but if you did miss out on the Christmas palette and you really wanted it, I mean, they're not that dissimilar that maybe that could fill the hole in your collection that you was missing. And this is the Little Ghost palette and the Christmas Eve palette. Again, very, very different, but just in case you wanted a comparison and you wanted to see how similar they were and that was maybe what was preventing you from picking it up or you was just a little bit confused, then I hope that's helped you out a little bit. And also I did see some people comparing the palettes to the Salmon, I cannot say that, to palette, which looks like this. And I do believe this one is still available. This wasn't the limited edition like the Christmas palettes, but just in case you already own it and you think it's too similar, I just wanted to make you aware of that. I mean, we don't all need all of the eyeshadow all of the time. I need to follow my own advice. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think to the palettes, the collection and the makeup looks that I did. I will of course link below my socials as well as my YouTube membership and my Patreon group if you want to join in the fun, and hopefully guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!